Completing a marathon is one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever experienced. But make no mistake, completing a marathon is also very brutal on the mind and body. You would be surprised how many people don't make it to the start line in their best shape, if they make it there at all. So what I'm going to do for you today is give you my 5 key tips that anyone can use to give themselves the best chance of getting to a marathon in the best possible shape and stay injury free along the way during training. Disclaimer though, this won't definitely keep you injury free, it will just give you the best possible chance. So buckle up, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment in the comments section, like the video and send me free chocolate. Okay, my first key tip, possibly the most important one that I'm going to give you, is plan ahead. And when I say ahead, I mean way ahead. Hold there 1 second. Calendar. This isn't exactly the same year, but it's a prop, you'll get the point. The fact is, you cannot take marathon training lightly if you want to give it your absolute best shot. Have you ever heard of the phrase, "It's a marathon, not a sprint"? It's just a lovely saying. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get yourself online, find a race that is around 6 months away that you like the look of, then lock it down in the calendar. Write the date down in there. That is locking it down. That is called an implementation intention, and it already means that you are 92% more likely to achieve your goal by the pure fact you've written it down and you've given yourself enough time to do it. Tip 2 is to invest wisely in training smarter. What do I mean by that? Well, get some clothing that is suitable for the job, decent clothing, and then invest the rest of the money in things that will help you stay injury free during the process. For example, what's most likely to injure you? It's unlikely to be a one-off traumatic injury, far more likely to be an overuse injury, which is the kind of wear and tear of everyday training. What we want to do is reduce the chance of injury with a little financial outlay. So consider getting a proper run analysis done. These things are gold dust and can identify weaknesses in your technique that would eventually lead to injury. So get up ahead of it. Also, invest in the right footwear. Your feet are the contact point with the ground, so it makes sense to spend some time and money looking after them. Don't just buy online, spend a couple of extra quid talking to a running enthusiast at your nearest running store. Their advice could be invaluable. And finally, invest in some kind of foam roller. Your muscles and joints are going to take a pounding with the marathon training, so you need to look after them, keep them supple and iron the knots out. And a foam roller is a great way of doing that at a little expense. It's not as good as a massage, it's certainly not a substitute for, but it is another tool in your armory to help you stay injury free. Point 3 is respect the basics of training. Now, marathon training is relatively simple in terms of how to plan for it, but you've got to respect those basics. The aim really is to gradually build your runs week on week and have one long run per week and the other 2 of around about an hour. The simplest method of training is of 3 weeks building up the miles, followed by a 1 week recovery week where you probably do about half of the volume and allow all those physiological adaptations to actually happen. There are other methods out there, but this is the most popular. You need to work backwards through the calendar with all of this in mind, not forwards. The last 2 weeks before your race you would consider as the taper, where you reduce the volume and then you start doing your 3-in-1 backwards to whatever point you're at now, this date. Even if it lands you in the middle of a block or even on a recovery week, that's where you start. So you'll probably run around 3 times a week, but look to increase your long run by around 10% per week. And your longest run doesn't have to be marathon distance. People usually top out at around 22 miles, which is about 35 kilometers. But the key here is to work backwards through the calendar rather than start from where you are now and work towards the marathon. Always go backwards with your longest run at the end and then calculate the 10% back. Tip 4 is take the non-running extras really seriously. If I had £1 for every time one of the athletes I coach doesn't stretch after one of their sessions or doesn't do a strength and conditioning workout, I wouldn't be super rich, but I'd be quite rich because they're actually getting quite good at it now. But honestly, I can tell you, I wouldn't be where I am today without a religious dedication to the strength and conditioning and the stretching after every single session that I do. Yes, I still pick up an injury every now and then, but I truly believe a lot less than I would do if I wasn't doing these extras. Believe me when I say, your legs, the muscular endurance will fail you long before the cardiovascular endurance does. So if you work on the strength and conditioning and the stretching, then you're elongating that time that your muscles can keep up with your cardiovascular system. Point 5 is get your calories right. I'm not a dietitian and I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not here to recommend one particular diet over another. All I know is that you're gonna need a lot of energy from fats, from carbohydrates, you're gonna need protein for muscle repair, and you're gonna need vitamins and minerals in general when you're under training stress. Restrict any one of those food groups too much, and my opinion is that you're in trouble. I've listened to a lot of nutritionists speak about these subjects, and every single one of them has advocated a healthy and balanced diet with no particular restriction on any one food group. Obviously you can do that, that's entirely up to you, and it can work, but I'm just giving you the information that I've been given. So that's it, my 5 top tips that will get you running a marathon in sub 2 hours. Okay, alright, maybe not, but what it will do is it will help you get to the start line in decent shape, and it may help you fulfill the potential that you feel you may have in running. As always, if you've got any other tips, then share them in the comments section because it always helps the community. Consider subscribing to the channel if the vlogs brought you value in any way, and wish me luck for London, which is less than a week away. And I'll see you Sunday.